It's 10 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a regular Commissioners Court meeting, County of Starr, Monday, January 13th. Let the record show that we do have quorum, Commissioner Pena being absent. I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you all for being here this morning. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we start our agenda, I'd like to move to our, let's see, what item is that? Which one? Yes, item 12, and that's for the audit report for 17-18. Mr. Gonzalez, I don't know who's going to give it. Okay, you want to use the podium, please, for...
Judge and Commissioner, we're here to present the audit for September 30, 2019. First, I would like to thank the staff for their help, and we were able to finish it, well, this weekend, but we did okay. Mr. Reyna, my CPA, and my daughter did most of the work, and Mr. Reyna is going to present the audit for you.
Let me interrupt for just a second. Let the record show that Commissioner Pena just walked in.
Okay. Okay. Start over?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Mr. Reyna.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Judge Vera and the members of the Commissioners Court, other elected officials, it's with great pleasure that we're here to report on the audit for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2018. And for the record, just giving you a little historical information, you hired us to conduct the audit for 2017. As we know, that audit, the whole audit process took a great deal of time. The county was in the process. In fact, historically, that whole process had taken a while, and we discussed it last year and so on and so forth. This year, it got a little bit better. You hired as well Mr. Perez, and of course his support staff continue doing an excellent job. So I'd like to first emphasize that it was a collaborative effort between Commissioners Court, hiring somebody that's diligent, knowledgeable, a CPA, as myself. He's been a CPA for a couple of decades like myself. And so, again, collaboration is of utmost importance. So I'd like to commend that department and the Commissioners Court for those efforts. And so far as the report is concerned, I've got three reports that the county tenders every year. It's the consolidated report on the county as a whole. You also have component units, which are sub units of the organization, which are your International Bridge, Starr County International Bridge, as well as your gas system report. We conducted all of those three audits. They're included in the consolidated report, and then in addition to that, I believe before you have the individual component reports. But for purposes of brevity and giving you a summarized report, I'd like to focus on the consolidated report, if I may. I'm going to hit up on the issues that I think are relevant, important, and significant for you all as a whole, just based on our professional experience with governmental entities. So if I may start, the report, of course, the consolidated report is 146 pages long. We're not going to go through the whole report. We're going to look at the revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year. We're going to contrast the budget situation, how the revenues expenditures compare to the budget, and then we'll make some observations regarding the internal controls or your system of checks and balances, items that we identified that are relevant and I think we need to bring to your attention. So first thing we want to address is the opinion, the independent auditor's opinion on the organization. It's noted on pages 1 and 2, but you don't need to read it. It's pretty long, difficult to read opinion, but nonetheless, we rendered a clean opinion on the financial statements. And again, that's reflective of that the county auditor's department, as well as all the other support departments, organizationally, programmatically, are doing a fine job in terms of ensuring that the numbers are reflective of the transactions that occurred during the fiscal year. So we gave you a clean bill of health as it relates to the opinion. Gave you a clean opinion. So that's very noteworthy. For the fiscal year ended, for all three of the entities, the The primary unit being the consolidated county as a whole, the international bridge, and the gas system. Right, so that's to be noted. As far as the financial statements that I want you to look at, I think page 15, if you may, if I may have you look at, that's the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. That really gives you a bird's eye view of what transpired during the fiscal year. You've got various columns, which are your primary columns, of course. We'll look at the general fund, which is your main operating fund for the county. If you look at that column, I'll make some observations. Overall revenues, as you note, the leftmost column, total revenues for the year, $17.5 million compared to expenditures of about close to $20 million. Now that subtotal looks like a deficiency of revenues of $2.4 million, but there's other monies that came in the form of proceeds, loan proceeds. There was $2.5 million that was borrowed on a short-term basis. And let me add that in the prior year, at the end of the same fiscal year, 17, the county was indebted to a local depository or bank for the tune of $1.9 million, which you all used for your cash flow for purposes of payroll and so on and so forth. Let me point out that the $1.9 million was paid off. Then further, during the fiscal year 2018, the county secured another $520,000. So that brought up the total amount to $2.5 million, which is reflected on this statement. But the full amount was paid by the end of the fiscal year. So that was an outstanding effort to go in and borrow the money but pay it out. It was accruing a small amount of interest, 5.5%, which is excellent for short-term loans. But nonetheless, the county was diligent and paid it all off at the end of the fiscal year. But the overall impact occurs. There was $980,000 you see that was transferred in. That's a typical transfer that comes in from the international bridge. So when it's all said and done, the fund balance that you started off with was $5,457,000 approximately, so close to $5.5 million. And the results of operations brought it up to $6.8 million. So it's a pretty robust situation. It's a good situation. So it marks that the county is doing better fiscally and comparing 2017 to 2018. The other major funds, of course, the Road and Bridge Fund.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir,
one
County
quick
Judge.
question. So our fund balance from 17 to 18 increased by how much?
Increased by $1,357,338.
1 million what?
$1,357,338.
That's the fund balance at the end of the year.
No, that was the overall net increase, sir. The beginning fund balance was $5,457,833, as noted on page 15, and then plus the overall results from the current year of the $1.3 million brought it up to $6.8 million. Within that 6.8, of course, includes the transfer in of $980,000 from your normal operating transfer from the bridge fund. So once again, it's a good situation. In fact, other observations I want to make: the debt service fund, of course, is where you contend and pay all your debt obligations. The county was able to pay the obligations, bonding and so on, payments on loans in accordance with the required payment schedules. All payments were made on a timely basis. That's all we want to say about that. The Road and Bridge Fund, this is a fund that you all are very familiar with. Started off the fund balance at the very bottom. All the road and bridge funds, which is all the different
What
precincts.
page are you on?
On page 15 still, sir. Second column.
15?
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
Road and Bridge. Okay.
So that road and bridge fund started off with a negative $1.6 million, but over the course of the year, you were actually able to put $411,000 into it. So you're reducing the debt in that fund as well. Another positive situation. All right, and then the other funds, of course, other governmental funds are the other special revenue funds, which are your federal and state programs. The county was able to administer, utilize, and disperse approximately $3.2 million in federal and state programs this year. So that too is a very positive type situation. Now, as far as the budget is concerned, if I can direct your attention to page 17 of the report, this also gives you a really good bird's eye view. You look under the expenditures columns, and you look at the actual budget basis, which is the actual budget basis, and then the final variances. You'll notice at the very bottom, almost all of the functional categories were within the budget, other than general administration. And the only reason was because when you all paid off the payments to the bank, it was a 1.9 million plus a 2.5. So not all of it was budgeted, but all of it was paid out. So nonetheless, you have a negative variance in the expenditures and in the revenues, but it washes out. So overall, the county did adhere to its overall budget. Okay? So every single functional category was in the black and not in the red. I remember last year when we reported 2017, there was some categories that were in the red. So those are the main observations we want to make about the governmental type. Now, if you look at page 19 of the report, it's similar presentation, but for all your proprietary fund types, meaning those that have they're supposed to be fee-based, which include your international bridge, your gas system, and your transfer station. All of those did comparably well. The international bridge, if you look at the bottom, again at page 19, leftmost column, started off with 2.1 million in fund balance, still ended up a little increase of 35,000, ended up with $2.1 million. Of course, that's net of the transfer of 980. So the international bridge still doing fairly well. As far as the gas system as well, it started off with close to $500,000 negative fund balance. It improved its overall operations by about $217,000. So it brought down the negative fund balance from $500,000 to about $368,000 negative. So you're still chipping at it and improving the overall fund. And of course, the transfer station is pretty comparable. Start off with $73,000 of positive fund balance and ended up with $21,000. That's a pretty minor difference from the year before. But that gives you, once again, an overall summary of the operations of the proprietary, the for-profit business-like type funds. So overall, both the governmental side and the for-profit side, they're doing fairly well. I would characterize it as such for the 2018 fiscal year. And we looked at things like your budget for next year, 19. I know you all have a more streamlined budget for 19. And all we got to continue recommending is that everybody looks at the budget on a departmental level and, of course, support the county auditor who manages it for you all as well, and continue supporting their efforts, because at the overall, at the end of the year, we'd like to be able to report that you all stayed within your budgets again, but at the same time, not compromising your efforts in supporting your constituents and all the infrastructure you continue doing and continue to do in the future. The other page that I'd like to bring to your attention is page 139. It's our schedule of findings and question costs. And essentially, when we're determining the nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures that we perform, we look at your system of checks and balances. Make sure that, one, the policies are in place, that you're adhering to them, and you're following them on an ongoing basis. So I did identify, the first observation was a repeat finding from last year, that the report was due. That's Commissioner on page 139. The report is due within 9 months after the end of fiscal year, which is typically June 30th, no later than that at the federal agencies. But normal timeline for governmental entities is typically about 4 months, 3 to 4 months after the end of fiscal year. So we continue to urge you to try to get that audit closed out beforehand. In this case, shoot for a goal of January or February, but certainly within the ultimate timeline for federal agencies, which is September 30th, because the 9 months after the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, because at that point you start getting nasty letter from the feds and state agencies and so on and so forth. We don't want that type of situation. So that's the spirit of that finding. The next finding, something that we take very seriously as we were conducting our tax collection reviews and procedures. We did note there were some problems with the mail-in collections. Those were not being opened on a daily basis, and we purposely selected a heavy month, the month of November 2017. That's when all the collections start coming in. So that's when you're going to test your internal controls. Are they good controls or not? And so we found that the situation was such that, unfortunately, X, Y, or Z reason, the mail-in were not being deposited. My understanding is that
By-
not all the mail-in collections were being open, so.
Yeah,
so
let me just clarify that
Yes,
the
sir.
mail-in, we're talking about mail-in payments of taxes.
Mail-in payments of taxes.
Right.
Of
Okay.
which would otherwise constitute deposits for the county.
Right.
And so some of those were, as you can read on the page, I won't get into the details, some of those were substantial, and some of those were late, a substantial period of time. You want all your deposits to go in on the next following day, especially substantial ones. They could get lost at somebody's desk, other things that could happen. And, here at the county, there have been some issues historically that have hounded the organization, but nonetheless, this is a positive recommendation, and we don't see a problem in terms of the county rectifying the situation and having that cleared by 2019.
Yeah, and let me just shed a little bit of light on that. This audit is for 17-18, which was
That's
when we were
correct.
having a lot of problems, both at the tax office and in the county in general. However, I've been talking to Ms. Salinas, and this is, now they're opening the mail daily. So
Great.
hopefully this has been taken care of.
Absolutely.
But back then, we were having problems. We couldn't access a lot of the stuff because they were under investigation, and, so there was a reason why that happened. I'm not saying that it was correct, but it was just circumstances.
And and I also want to emphasize that we did perform some very detailed procedures, and everything that we identified was indeed deposited. It's just not deposited as timely as what we would have expected
Sure.
it would have liked,
Yeah.
to protect the interest of the county. The last item also, and it's a compliance issue. It's not a systemic problem. It's just something that happened. Bonding levels for the same folks in that same department, the expectation is bonding levels be at a certain level, but they were reduced for that fiscal year. Not sure why, but after our audit observations, they were raised back up. We brought it to your attention because the tax code requires certain levels, so. But again, the spirit of an audit is just that, to continue helping the entity improve itself. Those are the observations we have. We made recommendations, and we feel assured and we feel comfortable that the county will be able to tackle those issues and have an even cleaner audit for 2019 and continue working towards completing the audit in a quicker timeline. Once again, Mr. Perez's department invested a lot of their time, and they're very helpful. It was a collaborative effort as well. We put 6 to 7 auditors on our side as well to try to make sure this job got accomplished. So we'd just like to thank you all for giving us a chance to do the audit, second-year audit, and hopefully we can continue helping you out. That's our presentation. County Judge and Commissioners, we'll entertain any questions, but
Yes, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Based on this audit, we did have a surplus of 1,700,000 plus this year, on this audit here, the 17.
for the general fund, I had indicated 1,300,000 and something thousand. Overall, for all the governmental funds, I mean, the number you're looking at in
Yeah.
particular, which presentation were you looking at, Commissioner?
Well, the first one, when you have, there's
Okay, page 15?
1,700,000,
Let me see.
it was page,
Page 15 was the revenues and expenditures. On the general fund, I reported that the net increase was 1,357,338, sir. On the general fund, Road and Bridge Fund also had an increase of 411. Now, those two together is about 1,700,000.
right, but we're talking about, that's money that we have left in the bank.
Well, yes, this side is a governmental side. This is not a full accrual, so that is, yes.
That's cash that we were
Cash,
left over
cash.
of the year. That was our
Yes,
profit. or
pertaining
what
to
we
that-
had left
pertaining to
after,
that fiscal year.
Revenues after expenditures.
that's
We
correct.
had a surplus of 1,700,000.
Yeah,
We
but-
got combined and all.
Yes, sir.
But I think what the commissioner is getting to is that this money's, if they're available for us to use, and my understanding is that this fund balance is really not free money that we can use for whatever
Well,
we
for
want.
example, as I indicated, the road and bridge fund, it started off with a negative fund balance of 1,600,000, and I indicated you chipped at it 400,000, so
Yeah.
that 400,000 not available. It's making up negative fund balance, so you're chipping at it every year, so you're gonna need to have positive
Yeah,
fund
and
balances,
let
so
me-
it's not all cash available.
Let me explain on that, for,
Yes, sir.
for the public and whoever's listening. The reason the road and bridge has always been in the negative and road and bridge has been in the positive is that when I do the tax rate, my understanding, and I don't know if it still stands or not, but when I first started, that was the way it was explained to me, is that we can transfer monies from general to road and bridge, but not from road and bridge to general. So therefore, I was always very, I guess, liberal on the general, because I knew if road and bridge needed money, I could move over.
That's correct, Judge.
Versus the other way around. If I put a lot of money in road and bridge and then we had a problem in general, I couldn't do it. So every year, even though I knew the tax rate should have been higher for road and bridge, lower for general, I wouldn't change it because I wanted that safety valve. However, lately I've been told that has changed, and little by little we've been putting more tax rate. It's the same. The public pays the same amount.
Right.
Let's say we have 50 cents, 30 go to general, 20 go road and bridge. Well, now maybe 23 go to road and bridge, and the difference go to general. Little by little, we're trying to catch up so that we get rid of that negative in road and bridge. But the money overall for the county is still there.
That's correct. That's a good summary, Judge.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Absolutely.
After you combine everything, how much money was available left in that year? Not in paper, I mean, talking about monies in the bank. Were available for the county to use.
If we had an emergency right now, how much money is in the bank that we could go use,
I'm just talking about this year, Judge.
or for this year?
You know, of this audit here that we have, this audit that you presented, how much money was available in case we had needed it, or we need it?
To that answer, if you look at the overall fund balances on the same page, for all governmental funds. But of course, again, some of the money is restricted for grants and so on and so forth. But really, the fund that gives you a more, I think, relevant indication is your ending fund balance for really the general fund.
I understand, but it belongs to the county, general, road and bridge, it
Right.
doesn't matter. It's still county money. But I want to know what's available
If you
out
combine,
there,
if you
or what
combine
was
the
available at the end of
6.8,
this year.
yes, sir, if you combine the 6.8 million at the end of the year for general and the negative 1.2 for road and bridge, you're looking at about 5.5.
That year only?
No, I'm talking about the bottom line.
Yeah,
For overall.
overall, that's 5 point some.
Oh, well, you said, well, then I said the 1.3 and the 4. We talked about it earlier with the 1.7.
1.7,
the
that was
1.7.
for
Yes, sir.
the year 2017. This audit here,
Yes, sir.
that's what.
Yes, sir.
What was available or is available at the end of that year.
I'll keep that in mind, so God willing, next year, I'll give you a little breakdown of it so you can see that number. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we talk about big numbers and then all of a sudden, when it comes to see what's in the bank, they're not available. That's my question.
Duly noted, sir. Duly noted.
We
But-
do have a lot of CDs in the bank,
Yes,
but a lot of those CDs are restricted.
restricted.
So that's what,
Yeah,
has
like-
has
like
always
that-
been the problem. We're told we have $5 million in fund balance, and there is $5 million in the bank, but some of those are restricted.
Yes, sir.
And they're not
Case
available
in
to
point, your debt service fund is holding over $1 million, but
Correct.
that's for future debt obligations, long-term debt obligations.
Yeah, I
So
think that
yes,
has come down considerably, because we paid off all our debt.
Great.
Yeah, so from that, we reduce that million some or whatever we had in INS, and it reduces our cash availability that we have at the bank.
What will be available, Judge, is what you've been leaving for a rainy day fund, is about it?
Yeah, and again, they're the auditors, I really don't know, but my guess, if I had to guess, monies that are free at the bank, maybe $1.5 million.
Right.
Okay, free at the bank.
Yeah, and that's a guess, don't.
Besides the obligations, those that are obligated somewhere.
Correct. Well, that's our report. Once again, it's a positive report. We brought some recommendations forth too, but it shouldn't overshadow the fact that overall it was a good report. And again, want to commend
One
Mr.
more
Pettis' office.
question.
Yes, sir.
How does the audit for this year already, that we're already around the corner, how does it look? Is it gonna be on time, or are we gonna wait?
I think that's a question better reserved for Mr. Pettis. We have not been engaged to start it.
Really?
We are eager to start it. We're eager to start it. We're willing to start it. We have the resources to start it. But we'll work with Mr. Pettis. We're certainly it's not gonna be a presentation this late in the game. We're chipping at it as well overall. We're helping each other.
If I may interject, an audit like this, any way you cut it, it's gonna take a certain amount of time, so many hours to complete. And with the staff that we have, I'm seeing, and again, I've only been here a year, I'm seeing that it's gonna take that amount of time to get it done. Now, what we're trying to do in our office is become a little more efficient in some of the ways that we're doing stuff. We're shifting some responsibilities, again, Sam and Ed are the main ones that work on this stuff. And, unless we got, 2 more people, we could cut it in
Yeah.
half.
Well-
But that's not reasonable either.
Well, Mr. Pettis, this is crucial for us. This is our lifeline, as far as getting grants and stuff. If you need more staff, I don't think the court would be opposed to giving you more money to hire more staff in order to get this done. Also, now that we're on that, we also need internal audits of different areas within the county to ensure, I guess it's just human nature, and I'm the same. If I know Big Brother's watching, I'm more careful. And you're Big Brother. You're the one, your office is the one that needs to be.
I mean, with the time that I've been here, I don't think I've had enough time to make
I
an
know.
assessment of
I know.
needing more personnel.
Okay.
For what I have noticed is that we're doing some things that we've been doing
Okay.
as such for 20 years, and those things need to
Okay.
change.
Well, I just wanted to
Once we
throw
do
that
I
out.
think we'll have a
Certainly,
little more time.
we don't want to tell you how to run your office, but if it's personnel and staff, like I said, and I hope I speak for the court, this is extremely important to us. We'll find money and for more staff, if that's what's needed. Again, if you don't need it, that's even better, but
So we're expected to go back again till the following year to have the next audit done, based on,
And we also made
ne-
some.
next year won't go through January before we get the audit. Okay.
No, I mean, it progressed a little bit. I think we could progress a little bit more. Again, I'm becoming more familiar with it myself, so I think we should make some strides with this next year. I can't tell you for sure 6:30, that's around the corner.
Right.
Right.
Right around the corner.
We've also, in the prior year and this year, we made some recommendations as to the software application. We'd really like to be able to get a download straight and start with the trial balances that way. So we're working on it. They're trying to do their best, and we're trying to do our best. So anything we can do to just expedite the process, Commissioner.
And I do want to thank you all publicly, Mr. Gonzalez, and I know I put you guys under the gun. We need this by Wednesday. It needs to be in by Wednesday, if not, we're going to lose funds. So I relate that to Mr. Gonzalez, and I know that was kind of also unfair to you all, pushing you to get this done. But we really appreciate the effort and the amount of people that you put to work on it.
Thank you, sir.
To get it out. So
Thank you.
We're very thankful.
We
for that.
appreciate you all as clients as well. Thank you. That concludes our
Your
presentation.
Honor, I move that we approve the audit as presented.
I have a motion, a second, to approve the audit as presented. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I guess we'll go back. One question before we leave that. These, and maybe it's for Mr. Pettis, they need to be at all our funding agencies. Can we do that electronically so that they can be out there today? Or we don't have to take a hard copy, do we?
They're gonna look over it one more time.
Okay.
Just for cosmetic purposes, and if everything's good, then I believe you all will so we can furnish it.
Okay, as long as they're out there by no later than tomorrow, electronically, that they have them by tomorrow. Okay?
All right.
Thank you all very much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'll go back to our agenda. Under public comments, I believe we had one sign up for public comments. This is signed by Santos Barrera. Mr. Barrera, you. And this is on the Arroyo Los Morenos project.
Page 69.
Muy buenos días, juez Vera, buenos días, comisionados, buenos días a los oficiales electos y a todas las personas que estamos aquí en esta mañana. Les deseo yo un feliz año 2020. Deseo y espero que el 2020 sea un año de prosperidad y desarrollo para nuestro condado, para el condado Estrella. Lo que quiero comentar es lo siguiente: como todos sabremos, en junio 27 del año pasado, 2019, la oficina del abogado del condado, el señor Víctor Canales Jr., nos convocó a la comunidad en general a una junta informal en la ciudad de Roma, con todas las personas afectadas en el área donde se ubica el arroyo Los Morenos. Esta junta fue transmitida en vivo por ciertas redes sociales, y lo que sí nos informó que era una junta informal. Y se nos informó que los terrenos que se necesitan para hacer el arroyo ya se estaba en el proceso de adquirirlos, y el proyecto empezaría físicamente en 20 días después de las fechas que acabo de mencionar. Esto para evitar que el dinero del gobierno federal que se tenía en ese entonces, no sé si todavía se tiene, se perdiera, no se utilizara. En esta mañana aquí estoy para saber el avance del proceso, porque pues físicamente nada más vimos el avance de un solo terreno que se ha hecho la excavación. Parece que es la parcela número 2 la que se hizo. Entonces básicamente no les quito más su tiempo, es nada más para, pues ya pasó, ya estamos en 2020 y fue en junio, y pues no hemos visto, las personas afectadas no hemos visto el avance. Y pues es todo por mi parte en esta mañana, juez, comisionados, muchas gracias por escucharme.
A usted. Muchas gracias. Mr. Barrera, por lo regular en public comments la corte no hace contestación, nomás escucha las inquietudes, los problemas, lo que tenga la gente, y luego de ahí para pues uno lo toma, y si acaso es algo que se tiene que poner en la agenda, se puede poner.
We have something on executive session.
Okay. Okay, tenemos ahorita en executive session, si gusta esperar a que salgan, a ver qué se va a discutir, no sé, pero y si se hace algo que puedan decirle, pues con mucho gusto le dicen.
Muchas gracias, les agradezco porque siempre hemos tenido su apoyo, juez, y de los comisionados, y pues aquí estamos, seguimos en la misma situación, y esperamos que este 2020, como lo dije al principio, sea de prosperidad para todo el condado, para prosperidad y desarrollo, y que todo esté bien en todos los ámbitos aquí en el condado. Muchas gracias.
Sí. Gracias. That was the only one we had? Okay. Minutes. You all have them before you, or I don't know if you all need time to review, or if you want to approve.
The minutes?
Yeah.
I approve the minutes as presented.
I second, Your Honor.
Moved and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Claims, Mr. Pettis?
Yes, so the claims have been reviewed, we recommend that they go.
Second motion.
Moved and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone that needs to come before the court before we start with our reports? Okay, under gas department. Mr. Alvarez.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I apologize for not putting my report date on your package, my written part. The numbers part, I was out a couple of days last week and we weren't able to generate it on time, but here it is.
Thank you.
page one, the numbers, this is how we ended the year. That's the December report. By the way, because we're a month behind. Oh, it looks good, everything's in the black. The second page reports on the volume loss, which I am very confident of, that we've been under 10% the whole year. The state allows us up to 10% volume loss, and we've been way under that, very manageable. I think the replacement of the steel lines did a great service to us. What is not on your report, Judge, is we're due to replace PVC lines now. It's an ongoing project, and we have a program that we're responsible to the state of replacing 7,500 feet a year, 35 risers per year. The risers we're doing in-house. However, the replacement of the poly line or the PVC lines has to be contracted out. It's a big thing to do. Mostly, it's also in the city limits. We've done the replacement on the outside, most of the rural areas, but what's left is the city limits. It's up to you. It's up to you all. It's got to go out for bids.
I believe, I'm not certain, but I believe that I did budget some money for that because you had told us about that we were going to need about 7,500 feet. So I think there's money in the budget. I'm not certain. There is? Okay. Okay, so I guess what we need, whenever y'all are ready and you decide what areas need to be done, we need to go out for bids on
Okay,
contractors.
so I'm sure, I've got certain areas that I want to target first, so I'll go ahead and give them to Reyna,
Chimita,
and yeah, we can go from there.
There was a contractor with a real water supply, I mentioned his name, Alejo Starr. He did most of the line work, just boring. He
Yeah,
didn't
I
trench.
remember that, yeah.
He did boring because he said it was cheaper, it was quicker. He didn't have to patch, so he went boring all the way.
It's
almost all the way.
in our case, it's more feasible for us to do boring, because if not, you're going to do replacement of sidewalks, replacement of pavement. It's cost effective.
Yeah.
Boring is expensive, but it'll be more expensive if we have to go into the replacement of pavement and all that. Since it's in the city limits.
He was saying that it was cheaper than trenching,
Yeah.
because the trenching, then he had to replace paving and all this. So I don't know.
It's-
To me, is wherever I can get it the cheapest. I don't care who gets it.
Right.
So we need to go out for bids and
Yeah.
see who can do it for.
I can get that information to
Okay.
Reyna pretty quick. It's already progress.
Okay.
The other thing that I'll say this morning is that we woke up to bad news. We got broken into our office, or not the office, just the warehouse part. But we're missing the main stuff: saws, weed eaters, all the easy carry stuff they took. A lot of tools.
The punch up stuff.
Yeah, we need to check.
We already have the CDPD taking a report on it, and it's all taken care of. But amanecimos sin nada ahora en la mañana. We're having to go into our personal stuff. And
Did we ever install the cameras that we bought?
They're installed, but they're not active right now. They're not on.
Eso es como si no estuviera.
Exactly.
We need to activate them.
we have some neighbors with cameras. We're hoping, I let the PD know that the neighbors on both ends have cameras and they're workable.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll check with them and see if we can get a picture of what we got. Any
Hopefully
questions?
we can find. Any questions, comments?
Thank you.
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Transfer station?
Your Honor and Commissioners, good morning. Before you, you have the transfer station report. This month, we did really good. We have a surplus which we don't have it very often, but this month we have a surplus of $5,702.85. It's gotten a lot better, Judge and Commissioners, at the transfer station, so we're hoping that this year we'll do even better than the prior months.
Then I was out there a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
Y felicité a los muchachos. It's extremely clean. Very
Thank
clean.
you.
Para ser que basurero,
Yes,
very
sir.
clean.
Yes, they work
That's good.
a lot. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Tax Office, Ms. Salinas?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. This is my report for the total collections for December 2019. The total countywide collections for December 2019 were $1,743,642.07. In December of 2018, there were $2,337,093.28. Year-to-date, there was a total collection of $125,547.84 more than last year. Our total current collections for Starr County entities are $926,360.43. Current collections for 2018, December of 2018, were $1,256,220.77. Year-to-date, there was a total collection of $206,340.47 more than last year. Our total delinquent collections for December 2019, just for Starr County, was $160,640.10. Total delinquent collections for 2018 were $205,979.79. Year-to-date, there has been a total collection of $64,439.34, less than last year. As of December 31st, the tax office has collected 61% of the projected current collections. Projected collections remaining are $5,541,192.18. Also, the tax office has collected 22% of the projected delinquent collections. Projected delinquent collections remaining are $2,011,285.82 out of the $2,585,806.0. That is my report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
They're increasing every year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Clerk, Mr. Gonzalez?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You have my report in front of you for the month of December of 2019 to the end of the year. For vital preservation, we had 179 new filings for a total of 204. Records management, 387 new filings for a total of 3,917. Preservation fee, we had 1 new filing for $1. Copies, 129 new filings for a total of $2,293.64. Our records archive fee, 310 new filings for a total of $3,722. Our marriage license to the state, 43 new ones for a total of $1,526.50. Our birth certificate to the state was 47 new ones for a total of $93.60. Our birth to the state was 92 new ones for a total of $198. Our county clerk new filings for the month of December were a total of 579 new filings for a total of $13,489.15. And for courthouse security were 296 new filings for a total of $404. Total due to the treasurer for the month of December was $25,848.89. Any questions?
One question
Yes, sir.
just came to mind. A bill was passed, I guess, last session before that, for a fee in civil cases that would go towards the courthouse restoration.
Right.
$20 or no me acuerdo what
I
the
believe
amount
so,
was.
right.
But where's that shown?
So the county clerk, Judge, does not handle the civil cases.
Okay,
That goes to the district clerk's
okay,
office.
so it would be their office.
Yes, sir. All we handle are the criminal misdemeanors with the county court of law. All civil cases go to the district clerk's office.
Okay, because I was under the impression that even the JPs would collect for that.
That is correct. That is
But
correct.
they go to the district clerk?
Yes, sir.
Hmm,
Yes, sir.
okay. You learn something every day?
So the JPs go to district?
Yes, I mean, we don't handle any, no, all we handle are the misdemeanor cases through the county court of law Judge Rodriguez and
Right.
the county attorney's office. You know, we've been talking about that, how to bring in more funds
Yeah.
there. But that's all, other than what we handle the probates and guardianships. But as far as any civil cases, it's handled through the JP courts and through the district clerk's office with the county court of law judge and/or the district courts.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Sheriff's Department? Chief?
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The projected revenues for December 2019 showing the City of Rio Grande at $720, the Roma Police Department $540, AUSA Solutions $1,500, United States Marshals Transportation Service $7,927, United States Marshals Medical Services $323, the Marshal Services for Housing Inmates $148,500, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office $116,400, for a total projected revenues of $275,910. The count for January the 7th, 2020, we were housing 83 federal inmates, 73 Hidalgo inmates, and 81 local inmates for Starr County, for a total count of 237. The monthly average for federal inmates was 65, and the monthly average for Hidalgo was 87. The revenue difference between December 2018 to December 2019 is more, to $20,487 more than this time last year. Year-to-date collections so far, we're looking at $283, sorry, this year, which is more than last year, for a total of $837,950.
That's still looking really good. Any questions, comments?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Chief. International Bridge,
Good morning, Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners. This is the report for December 2019. The total revenue for traffic is $220,088 with 50 cents, and we show a decrease of $10,325 for the month of December 2019 compared to the month of December 2018. We show an increase of $16,417 with 50 cents of collections for December 2019 compared to the month of November 2019. We have other collections of $72.50, and the grand total collections, it's $220,161. Do you have any questions?
any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Before we go to the next one, Mr. Pettis, on the bridge, we're paying down on what we owe the city of Roma. Last year, I think we paid more than half of it off. This year, if the numbers continue to decrease, we might be to where they owe us. So, yeah, at some point, I guess, I know you all have a lot of things to keep an eye on, but if we could keep an eye on that, and maybe we could adjust that so that we don't go into the reverse. It's just food for thought. Thank you.
It would be better for us to own and not them to own.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not que batamos para colectar. We control the purse. So nos pagamos nosotros primero, pero Treasurer, Mr. Gonzalez.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. You have my report in front of you for the month of December 2019. If you could just follow along with me, please. The ending balance for the general fund is at $4,176,677 with 23 cents. In 2018, it was at $2,967,070 with 20 cents for a positive difference of $1,209,607 with 3 cents. For the road and bridge, the ending balance is at $1,403,455 with 13 cents. In 2018, it was at $1,068,410 with 70 cents for a positive difference of $335,044 with 43 cents. The enterprise funds, the ending balance for those funds is at $609,330 with 85 cents. In 2018, it was at $549,311 with 85 cents for a positive difference again of $60,019 with no cents. For the drainage district, the ending balance is at $1,097,716 with 6 cents. In 2018, it was at $803,343 with 96 cents for a positive difference of $294,372 with 10 cents, for bringing the grand total ending balance of $7,287,179.27. In 2018, it was at $5,388,136 with 71 cents for a positive difference of $1,899,042 with 56 cents. Are there any questions?
One question, Mr. Gonzalez, the difference, it's quite a bit of an increase from 18 to this. Is that because in 18 we had already bought CDs, or what's that?
I wouldn't, is that, we had, no, not because of that.
So why the increase? Such a big increase?
The what? Oh, the deposits from the tax office.
Okay,
Yeah, remember
they're
the
done,
4 million,
yeah.
I think it's the 4 million that
and
got
now
deposited.
they're being done timely, so
Yes, sir.
that's what part of the audit was,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Perez, auditor. Welcome to politics. Mr. Perez.
Again, good morning, Commissioners, Judge.
¿No le han apretado el tapón al aceite o qué?
¿A quién?
¿Están tirando mucho aceite? Necesito no le han apretado el tapón.
Go ahead, Mr. Perez, I'm sorry.
Okay, so my report is for the month ending December 2019. I believe you've got the report in front of you. On page 1, we reflect the reconciled balances of the general fund at $3,974,497.56. Road and Bridge Fund at $1,321,050.17, and the Payroll Clearing Fund at $531,719.91. I'll repeat that these numbers are a little bit different from the treasurer's in that these are reconciled balances, so there's going to be a little difference there. Part 2 reflects the expenditure report for the general fund as of December 31st, 2019, as a percent of the year elapsed. As of December 31, 2019, 92 days have elapsed, or 25.14%. In summary, the general fund amount expended year-to-date is $4,563,745, or 24.1%, just slightly below the 25.14. Breakdown of the several departments are reflected at the bottom of page 1 and continue through page 2. The departments exceeding the 25.14% are reflected in bold. On page 3, Part 3 reflects the expenditure report for the Road and Bridge Fund as of December 31st, 2019. In summary, the Road and Bridge Fund amount expended year-to-date is $1,234,019, or 19.89%, falling below the 25.14 of the year elapsed. Below that, you can see a breakdown of the numbers for some of the departments with the Road and Bridge Consolidated Fund. The remainder of page 3 and continue through page 4, we have a year-to-date summary of the revenue reports for the general fund and the road and bridge fund. Year-to-date revenues collected are $6,902,040, or 36.45%, and $2,519,693, or 40.61%, respectively. On page 5, you see a summary of revenues and expenses for the enterprise funds as of December 31st, 2019. The International Bridge reflects revenues of $627,910 with expenditures of $953,974, a deficit of $326,064. The gas operating system reflects year-to-date revenues of $248,167 with expenditures of $193,413, or in excess of $54,754. And finally, the solid waste transfer station reflects year-to-date revenues of $183,450 with expenditures of $279,711, deficit of $96,261. On the last page, page 6, we have a summary of the debt owed as of December 31st, 2019. That total being $1,629,348. Any questions?
Pocket change.
Divided by 4?
It's pocket change.
Yeah, just noticing the number for the city of Roma, we're down, we owed them over $1 million last year, and we're down to 300,000, so I think we need to keep,
62.5
we should be pretty
monthly.
close to paying them off.
Correct.
Any questions?
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and move on with our regular agenda. Item number 8 is an action item. This to approve a donation. Number 7. Number 7 se me pasó. Okay. A motion, a second to approve vendors list. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is an action item, and is to approve a donation in the amount of $3,500 from Mesteño. Okay. Motion second. ¿Verdad? A ver qué será algo. Any further discussion? All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Por eso fue 3 por favor. Item 9 is item 9 is an action item. This is to approve the record management fees starting the 1st of September. Mr. Gonzalez.
Good morning, Judge, again, Commissioners. In front of you, we have an action item requesting to increase the fees on some of our filings that have come into the county. I know Judge and I have talked about it. I've completed 1 full year, and we're trying to see how we can gather more money for the county. One thing that we did look at this past year was that we were not collecting the full amount allowed by the state on some of our fees. So the ones in front of you are the ones that are going to increase. If approved, we will publish it in the local newspaper for 2 weeks. Where I see, Judge, that we'll see an increase where it will affect our constituents a little bit, possibly will be our assumed names are going to go up $10. I think we're charging like 16 right now. It's going to go up to 26. Our marks and brands is another one that's going to go up $10 from 14, I believe, to 24. Our marriage licenses were at 72. That will be going up to 82. And our plats will also be going up an additional $10 along with our informal marriages. And then, of course, the other ones, our federal tax liens, hospital liens, those kind of go to the state on when they put these liens from the comptroller's office or from different organizations. Now, we did keep one the same, and working with Commissioner Peña and Roma, we are keeping the cemetery as is.
Okay.
We're not going to increase that one at all, so that it doesn't affect our constituents in that area.
Okay, so that's the reason it's highlighted?
Yes, sir. That's the
So
reason why
from
it's,
10, you're suggesting going back to 5?
that one will stay the same. It was at 5 and 5, that will stay at 5 and 5.
Okay.
Instead of going 10 and 10, increasing 10,
Okay.
speaking with Commissioner Benya, we're going to keep that the same. It'll just be the other one, Judge. So by doing this, we are going to see possibly an increase of at least $10,000 or more per year,
Okay.
depending
Mr.
on what
Gonzalez,
comes.
on the last two, the state tax lien and the state tax lien controller,
Yes, sir.
those fees, do they go to them, to the state, or do we keep?
We keep those.
We keep
So these are the fees that the county keeps.
Okay,
So they get a portion of it, but if you notice at the bottom, we were only charging the $5. We weren't taking full advantage of what the state allows.
okay.
So by doing that, we'll increase revenues for the county and increase revenues to continue upgrading the
And
offices.
this is what the state allows?
Yes, sir. So I'm respectfully asking for approval.
Moved and second to approve, discussion. All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Next item, item 10, is to approve the new Texas Judicial Office of Court Administration court costs for the county and district clerks. Ms. Sepulveda? Good thing. Thank you.
Morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners. The court cost, the new Texas Judicial Office of Court Administration has changed the court cost for our misdemeanors and our felonies. So, I don't think we need to change them or to approve them more than anything. But they have changed, so I'm requesting for them to be approved, so we would be able to change them in our courts.
If I understand correctly, these are mandated by the state, right?
They are
That
mandated
we
by the
must
state.
collect this amount.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it's just a formality so that the court approves, but we really don't have much of a choice. It's mandated. Okay. I have a motion, a second to approve. Discussion? All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 11 is to approve the Starr County Investment Report. Mr. Gonzalez?
Good morning again, Judge, Commissioners. This is the investment report for the first quarter for fiscal year 2019-2020, ending December 31st, 2019. For the record, all Starr County investments are in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act and the Starr County Investment Policy. The total investment portfolio and certificate of deposits at the end of December 31st, 2019 is at $2,236,661.32. The overall interest earned for the first quarter is $1,408.51. As per the terms of the depository contract, the county's amount in deposits are properly collateralized in accordance with the pledged securities report from the Lone Star National Bank. And again, for the record, this report for the first quarter of fiscal year 2019-2020 is prepared in compliance with the Texas Public Funds Investment Act. We request approval, please.
Okay. Is there a motion to moved and second to approve? Discussion? All in favor, please, aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Item 13, it's a proclamation to approve proclamation for the 2020 census. I believe you all have a copy in your folders. What this is that we're getting close to the census, and I cannot overemphasize how important this is. Probably one of the most important things we'll be doing for the next 10 years is on the census. 10 years ago, as everyone is well aware, we were terribly undercounted in the county, and because of that, we lost the county. And when we say we, I mean everybody, the schools, the hospital, of course, the county, everyone, to the tune of approximately $2,000 per every person that did not get counted per year. Yeah, per year. So, and we estimate that 10 years ago, we were undercounted by, I want to say, 15 to 20,000 people. So that is a tremendous amount of money. So this year, there's been a big push in the valley to make sure that every citizen gets counted. Not only does it affect us monetarily, it affects us politically. The more people we have in the valley, the more representatives we can have in the state, the more congressmen we can have in Washington, so that we are heard and our needs are better met. So it is critical that everyone gets involved and everyone makes sure that they get counted. 10 years ago, one of the biggest deficiencies that we had were in infants and children under 5 years of age. They must be counted. Even if they're a day old, they have to be counted. They should be counted because they're going to need resources from the county, the schools, the cities, law enforcement, all these other people. So, we need to make sure that the parents know that their babies need to also be counted. Just DHR, they have over 800 babies a month. One hospital. So can you imagine all the babies that are being born in the valley, and yet they're not being counted? So again, this is what this proclamation is for. I have another item a little later to start advertising. The way I see it, we need to start telling people, this is coming. Don't be afraid. No tengan miedo. No tienen nada que ver con su status de migración, de nada de eso. The reason for the census, and I'm sorry I'm taking a long time, but I think it's so important. The reason for the census is not to determine who's a citizen and who's not. The census cannot be shared with any other government agency. The census was created in the Constitution for for commerce. They're the ones that run it, is the Department of Commerce. And what it's supposed to be used for is if a business wants to come into Starr County, the first thing they're going to look is the census. How many people are there? What's their income, education, and then they determine if they want to come into the county or not. No es para determinar si son ciudadanos o no son. This is, that needs to be emphasized to all the people. They need to be counted. It is critical to be counted. And if they don't do the census, they have no reason to complain. It's their fault. So we must be counted. Anyhow, that's what this is for, and I certainly urge that we approve this proclamation. Moved and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item 14, okay, it's a contract. They reached out to us. It's a radio station, the local radio station here in Rio, 95.1, and they, I thought they did a really good proposal to start advertising for $500 a month, and I can take care of that, where they will start pushing the importance of the census and not to be afraid. It's coming. It's going to have to be in phases. It's coming, and then when it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. So right now, between now and February, it's just that, pre-warning, it's coming. We need to get ready. Don't be afraid. It's coming. Yes, and you all have the contract in your folder.
I second, Your Honor.
Moved and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item 15 is an action item, and this is to approve the preliminary election service contract for the Democratic and Republican parties.
Good morning, Judge.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Commissioners. Yeah, this is just a contract with the Republican Party and Democratic, where they're gonna contract our services, our machines. Just the difference between the contract is the Republican won't be leasing any machines. Everything's gonna be manually, and the Democratic Party will.
Okay. And is this about the same as what we had last year?
It's always the same in the primaries.
Okay, so the county will not be out any money?
No, they have to pay us.
Okay.
Second, Your Honor.
Okay. Moved and second to approve. Discussion.
Thank you.
All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 16 is also an action item, and this is to approve the amendment agreement to lease agreement between Community Development Institute for Head Start and County of Starr. I don't know if they contacted you all, but this is to todos los buildings que rentan ellos for Head Start. A mí tampoco. Who knows about this? Yeah, they didn't contact me, so I thought they might have contacted you all. You want to table it?
Yeah.
We can table.
Is there a motion?
Motion to table, Your Honor.
Moved and second to table. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17 is an action item, and this is to approve some security lights. Commissioner Peña?
Yeah, these are on FM 650, Your Honor, on your way to from Don. There are areas that are very dark and they're curves. I'm afraid somebody might have caused an accident. And on 4th Street, those belong to us, and that's the last street that's near the river. So that's why I'm making a motion to approve these lights.
Moved and second. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Items 18 through 25 are budget amendments. Mr. Pettis? Moved and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It is 11:15, and pursuant to section 551.074 and 551.071, we will now go into executive session to discuss order of salaries, billing claim invoices, personnel manual, amendment number 10, and to hire lawyer on condemnation. We'll be back shortly. It is 12 o'clock, and we're back in executive session, back in open session. Under order of salaries, is there a motion to approve? Moved and second to approve order of salaries as presented. Discussion? All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The ASO billing claim invoice was just informational, so no actions needed. The change on the amendment number 10 to policy on drug and alcohol, also that was just information, so no actions needed. And then the item on hiring lawyer for condemnation.
This one we're going to table, Your Honor, so my motion will be to table for the hiring of, until we finish with the GLO contract on Moreno Arroyo project.
Okay. Okay, so I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.